my performance marketing agency, Unicorn Traffic, has finally created an offer that essentially eliminates all of our financial downside from every new offer and gives us only upside and actually increases the likelihood of upside for an affiliate marketing business. Now, if you're watching this and you watch my past videos, you've probably heard me talk a lot about affiliate marketing, and you know there are lots of pros to do it. There's just so many great things. You don't deal with client calls, client communications, reporting, Slack messages, pause, start, ROAS changes, CPA changes, and obviously you can make a lot more money doing it. But a lot of the feedback I get from people is, hey, I don't know how to get started financially because it's a big financial risk because I'm no longer getting a retainer. I'm not getting a percent of ad spend. I come out of pocket for it. So not only am I making no money, no revenue coming in, but I'm also coming out of pocket to test things, and I can lose money, and it might take me 5, 6, 8, 10 plus offers to find something that works, and I could go bankrupt in the process. So what we put together at our agency, because we still deal with the same problems on a bigger scale, but we have the same challenges, right? Which is this business model is cash intensive. It has lots of upside, but it is cash intensive and it's very risky. So we put our heads together and we put together a new offer that we brought to the market about 30 days ago. And the response has been really, really good. Basically, everybody we pitch it to has said yes to it. And so in today's video, I'm going to share this offer, what it is, why it works, how you can replicate it, what's great about it, pros, cons, all that good stuff. Really, I don't think there's any cons to it. I'll maybe try to find it and straw man the argument a little bit. So essentially, this is building on something I've talked about in previous videos regarding loss pools and basically people giving you the ability to, hey, if you lose $2,000, $5,000 test my offer, I'll essentially cover those losses. So if you're running ads for brand X and they give you a $5,000 loss pool and you spend $10,000 and only make $5,000 in commissions, that means you lost $5,000. So the brand X, will then give you the $5K as a loss pool. So loss pools are very, very common. Sometimes brands will also kind of give you an advance or kind of prepay. They might give you a $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 test budget, which operates very similar to a loss pool, except you don't come out of pocket at any cash. It's basically their cash going in. So those two models are good. And if you can get those, that's great because that takes the out-of-pocket financial risk off the table for you, which is huge for affiliate marketing. If you can get loss pools or test budgets for every offer, you can just keep testing. You can't really lose money. So that's a great step one. And that's what we've done with a lot of our stuff to date over the years. But it doesn't address the other issue, which is income. Okay, so that just basically covers your losses, but it doesn't actually cover your team expenses, your salary, things like that. So I've had a few people reach out to me in the last week or two asking, hey, how should I structure performance deals if I'm still heavily dependent on retainer, percent of ad spend style legacy agency clients? Because obviously if you go all in performance and you get rid of your 5 to 10K a month retainer-based agency clients, you could lose a sizable amount of income. You could lose, $25, $50, $100,000 a month in income coming into the business from clients. And even if you have your losses covered, you could still potentially generate $0 in income, $0 in even profit. It might some top line revenue, but you might not be profitable on it. You might spend $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 to make $10,000, $20,000, right, in revenue. So you net nothing and you still have bills and expenses. So what we started doing is putting together a thing called a test package. And so essentially what we do is we're going to brands and saying, hey, if you want us to run, and the pitch is much better than this. I'm not the person that pitches this, but I'm just kind of short forming it. The TLDR version. If you want us to run your offer, here's what we need. We need 10 grand. And in that 10 grand, we're going to take 5 of it. It's going to go direct ad spend. So $5,000 direct ad spend. The other 5 is going to go to our team. It's going to go to our media buyers. We're going to be, creating some creative for it. We're going to be reviewing your funnel, giving you suggestions. And then we're going to end this test package and we're going to present you our findings. So we have a really amazing deck we built out. We're going to present all our findings, what creative worked, what angles worked, what audiences worked, what the data looked like. And then at the end of it, we're going to say, here's kind of what our CPA was during that test. And here's what we think based on all the data we have now, knowing kind of average CTRs look like, conversion rates look like, CPCs look like, EPCs, knowing all that stuff. We're going to be able to calculate where we need to be CPA wise for this to give us enough margin to be able to scale this and take it on as a full performance client. And at that point, we then decide whether we want to move forward as a performance partner or just say, hey, it didn't work for us, but you saw all these findings. So that's essentially what we've been positioning. And this is different than going to, so we're not basically just going to networks and grabbing offers and running them. We're positioning this as almost a hybrid, where it's like kind of an agency deal, but it's a one-off. We're not locking into a 3-month contract. We're not locking into a, 10 grand a month for 3-month deal or a 10% of ad spend deal. It's a one and done. This is basically a single test. It's going to happen over this, 2-week period. And here's what's going to happen. Here's how much it's going to cost. Now, the reason I really, really like this model, and it's been amazing having everyone basically pitch it to say yes, including some larger networks that love it and want to bring it to a lot of their new offers coming on, is because it does so many things. So for one, it both covers our downside. We're not coming out of pocket for the testing because the brand essentially paying for the testing. So we're not putting our card on file yet. So there's no financial out of pocket risk for us, which is great. Plus we're getting $5,000 coming into the business that can then go and pay for, team members and all that stuff and overhead. Now, again, we're not going to get rich off $5,000 a month, but if you're doing, 8 to 10 test packages a month, it's decent. It's around $50,000 a month coming in just from the test packages, not even factoring in some of those and hitting, moving to performance and all the other stuff happening. So you can actually do pretty well just from the test packages, and you're not locked into anything. So you don't have to worry about just maintaining this client or churn or anything like that you deal with the agency. It's a one and done. It's a one-off. Okay. So those are two things I really like about it. Third thing I really like about it is it puts the client, gives them a little skin to go in the game, right? They have a little skin in the game now. The challenge of performance marketing, it's a double-edged sword. You're less likely to get fired and churn out than an agency because you're not getting paid 10 grand a month no matter what. And like an agency, and that brand's always looking at like, hey, is it worth it? They had a bad month, a bad few weeks. I can find a better agency over here. So you're never in the chopping block in that regard because really they're only paying you if you're making them money. The downside to that is because they're not paying you and have no skin in the game, they don't really give you a lot of attention because it's like, hey, either you send us sales or you don't, no skin off our back. It's not a big deal. And so you'll have a lot of times you get onto an offer and they could care less about you. I lost my train of thought there. They could care less about you, right? They have a bunch of affiliates. They have their own agency. They have internal media buyers. Until you start driving volume, they don't give a crap about you. With this test package, they're putting some cash in the game. They're putting 10 grand down. And so they're going to take it more seriously because there's some skin in the game. Now, it's not a massive amount of cash, but it's enough cash that they're actually going to put some effort into it. They're going to give you some resources. They're going to give you the attention. They're going to make the tweaks that you're suggesting they make. And so you're getting buy-in from the client, which is going to really increase the chances that it's successful because there's a relationship happening there and lots of adjustments and changes and improvements being made there. So I really like that. What I also like about it is you're not assuming what the best CPA is out of the gate. So the way a lot of affiliate marketing works is, for 99.9% of affiliate marketers, they go to a network, a Square Dance, a GiddyUp, a DFO, Verve, a ClickBank, right? They go and they see a bunch of offers and they see what the person pays. They pay $60, $120, $110, $50, whatever it is. Now the truth is that most of these advertisers listing CPAs really don't understand their numbers at all. They're kind of just pulling a number out of their ass and throwing it up there and hoping it gets people excited. But neither party really knows whether you're the publisher or the advertiser, whether this is a great CPA, whether this makes the most sense. Nine times out of 10, the advertiser could afford to pay a lot more. They just don't want to. They might be basing their CPA off of their internal CPA, which is also factoring a blended CPA, which is retargeting. And we'll talk to clients all the time that on the performance side, they'll come to us, the CPA, and we'll ask, we'll do that internally. They're like, yeah. We say, hey, send us proof. They'll send us proof. We say, hey, 40% of your paid traffic is retargeting and your CPA and retargeting's, 15, but your cold is 110, right? So blended might be like 60 something, but that's not really what your CPA is on cold traffic. So anyway, what this allows us to do, the test package, is it allows us to get cold, hard data with no financial risk of exactly where we need to be CPA wise for this to work. Both parties essentially. So we end this test package with a presentation with kind of a debrief, and we say, hey, we spent this much. This is everything we tested. This is what the costs look like on this channel, Meta or TikTok, whatever the channel is. And so based on that, based on where we need to be margin-wise, this is the CPA we need to be at. And then we work with them and they'll say, hey, well, our AOV is only here. So we'll say, well, we need that upsells, order bumps. We need the AOV up. And we'll go back and forth. and either we can make a deal and we can meet the CPA we need to be at for us to run the offer, in which case that's great because now we already know that CPA works based on our tests. So when we switch over to our card, we can now scale the crap out of it and make a lot of money. Or we just can't, we're too far apart, we can't meet somewhere realistic, at which point we don't run the offer, we move on, we at least made $5,000, and we didn't waste our time trying to test an offer cold when the CPA was unrealistic. So we save time and we make money. So really, I think this is like when you're thinking about if you're a solo media buyer right now with some retainer clients, if you are a marketing agency with a lot of clients on retainer, percent of ad spend that's looking to get into performance, if you're any of these people that want to get into performance marketing and you are concerned about both the out-of-pocket financial risk on loss side and also the lost revenue side, not having income coming in, this is kind of a best of both worlds, the test package. So again, like I said, our model right now is 10K, 5 and 5, 5 and spend, 5 for our time. And they get a lot of bang for their buck there on the 5 for our time. Because not only, like I said, do we run the offer, we put together a really amazing kind of post-test debrief with all kinds of metrics, analysis, creative that worked, angles that worked. We give them a lot of great stuff at the end that they can, even if we work together, they can at least use it for their agency or for the other performance marketers that want to run the offer. This is a great win-win offer. And like I said, that's our model. If, based on your size, your scope, your experience, maybe it's 3 and 3. Maybe it's, you go in there and it's, to get them on board, you do, 5 and 2. So you do 5K and spend, 2K for your time. It really depends on the structure of your company. It depends on how much revenue you're sacrificing, what your kind of monthly, what your run rate looks like right now, what you're taking home kind of monthly. So it depends on a few factors, but that's our model. So there you have it. Test package, 10K, 5K spend, 5K test, covers our downside, gives us more upside, brings in revenue for the business, win, 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 wins all around. So let me know what you guys think about that strategy. Let me know if you're going to give it a test. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below. And then as always, if you enjoy these videos and you want me to keep making them, hit that red subscribe button, hit the little bell so you get all my videos, hit that like button, hit all the good buttons, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. Now, I was going to hire Sarah McLachlan to do this read instead and play some really sad music behind it to really guilt you into subscribing to my channel, but she was booked and I couldn't afford her. Rates are ridiculous. So anyway, you got me. So if you want more content, if you want to see more videos, you want more marketing and business tips and advice and all that good stuff, or just want to show some support, hit the subscribe button here. It's floating around on the screen somewhere. And if you want to watch more content from me, there's also another floating box somewhere on the screen with another video that YouTube and their really, really smart algorithm thinks you'll like. Check it out. I know you'll love it. And I'll see you in the next video.